everybody, thanks for checking out this video here on G for G. Background music, as you can tell, is the Final Fantasy IV soundtrack. And we're going to take a look at a proof of concept team called Just Like a Suicide, which is a reference to an old Soundgarden song, if you're not familiar with it. This team, honestly, is a little bit douchey. And the reason why the team is douchey is due to the fact that, well, it's kind of asshole-ish. It's a very weird team-up, and it requires certain gear in order for it to work properly. And that is the fact that you need to have Combat Communicator to do its best, and the Chalice of Souls. So, what you may know is that semi-popular right now is called the Triple Blaster Blow-Up. It's when 3 blasters run a specific ISO, they all die, and they wipe out your team. Now, it's recoverable unless one of the blasters or somebody has put out the spare. Once you have put out the spare, your team simply can't recover for it, because for a lot of people, the damage was more than their max health. So for example, if 3 blasters blow up and they're at least doing 33% damage, they probably killed you. For most people, it was actually doing 35 to 40% every blow up. Once you had the spare, you literally had no chance of doing anything. So, in an experiment, we've been playing around with some things when I do my PvP stream. We've been playing around with, can you do a blaster blow up and get resurrections? Possibly off of Phoenix and Valkyrie, there may be some ways of doing it, but typically suiciding doesn't really allow for a res. And we've tried it with the Soak. I don't have a Power 4. But the Power 4 is still out there, and also the Phoebe Denarok. Well, what we're going to do here, otherwise known as the beef, corned beef. Yeah, that's what it is, corned beef. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to use this in PvP as an offensive tool. So what I have is the Vampiric Sword, the Lantern of Doom, I have the corned beef, I have the Chalice of Souls, and I have the Combat Communicator. You absolutely need the Chalice. It cannot be replaced. However, the Combat Communicator is my own flair, and you'll see why. So we're going to take this out on practice. We do have a completely kitted out Spitfire, with the exception of flanked on her level 1, which is currently residing on my Archangel. Now, you can do this with a double blaster suit or a triple blaster suit. You just can't do it with a single blaster suit. So, it looks like we are facing an enemy team of Spitfire and Star-Lord, kind of common. My Spitfire went first. She's running measured, just like I am, so this is almost a mirror match here. What I'm going to try to do is take out the enemy Spitfire ASAP. It doesn't seem like they have... Oh, well, yep, she's gone. The enemy Spitfire is definitely going to die. We got lucky as hell. And she even retains another turn. Well, I didn't quite get the kill. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit a lifelink just to get the stamina back, even though I don't need the hit points. Now, this is where the fun starts. I'm going to Chalice of Souls my own Spitfire, because she is the furthest one away from my agent in turn order. I'm now going to suicide out. See, these two guys are ethereal. However, that's why I went with a double suit, because I have phased frequencies. That means I'm going to hit who I want to hit. So I'm going to go ahead and take out the enemy agent. He's dead. I blew up. I did a bunch of damage. So now Star-Lord is hurt. He unfortunately is ethereal, but psychic attacks do get through that. Spitfire can't join in because he is ethereal. So I'm just going to stop and reapply mental coordination. Now watch what's going to happen when Spitfire gets her turn. Spitfire isn't going to be able to hit him because he's intangible. But look who's back, folks. It's my agent. My agent is back from another reality. He unfortunately doesn't have the buffs that I used to have, though. So he's back in kind of a virginal form. And he's also relatively close to death. Rock's Fall kills the agent, but as you can see, the agent came back. And this can be used to absolutely wreck the biggest threat on the enemy team. Of course, we do know that Star-Lord is now tangible because he actually did an attack. There you go. There's example 1, the suicide solution. Let's compare stats. See how this was if this was an actual match. Pretty high attack. Armory is not the most supportive of that team. My armory actually features more attack than theirs does. Their attack is very good and their accuracy is pretty solid. Unfortunately, their hit points weren't too strong. So let us take a look at the suicide solution again. Now, to me, the biggest application of this is Kurth and Angrier, or Null, taking out somebody super obnoxious without batting an eye. Now, the agent might be a little weird when he comes back, and that's what remains to be seen. In testing this in PvE, the agent is kind of messed up. So we have a super high hit point, Angrier and Kurth. Now, my agent doesn't seem to be making the best use of the combat communicator. But, you know, hey, it's worth the shot to try to get him super early in the turn order. So, we are going to go after the enemy Angrier like crazy. The goal is basically to do your best to get rid of massive threats early on. We're going to hit him with the Sleeping Tiger, which does reasonable damage. And Psylocke comes in. Oh, so close. It was really close. Considering the amount of hit points that that team has, this was a really strong opener. We're protected from all of this thanks to the warding. So, I'm going to chalice Spitfire. We know she went first, so she is the furthest person away in the turn order. And I am going to suicide out the Kurth. Kurth is gone. My enemy agent is gone. I blew up. I finished off Angrier thanks to the low hit points. But he did a Scroll of Rudamarad. Kind of vicious, but not too bad. So, assuming he has Scutum, which he does, I'm not going to hit him with the level 1, because the level 1 causes drains, but Psylocke's level 9 does not. However, Spitfire following up is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass. So, we don't really want to cause drains here, so we've got a bit of an issue. But, honestly, this is all for testing. So, phylactery activates, and my agent is back. Oh, that stamina drain really hurt. However, my agent was not here for the Scroll of Runemeroth, but he's taken out anyway. It's a shame that we don't get to see what he can actually do when he comes back. Spitfire's healing will be able to kick in. Voracious Vixen's not going to do anything, unfortunately. We do get a We Will Win proc, which is pretty solid. However, he's going to drain for all of this. Because Psylocke will be using a level 1. And Psylocke's level 1 will cause drains. Where does he keep getting that shield from? I'm interested as to where he keeps popping a shield. Of course, his escutcheon stacks are going to be off the charts, and this is where constantly losing the agent is a bit of a problem. But you can see, right at the beginning of combat, 2 massive threats were just simply deleted. The issue is to try to get some sustain out of these guys, and losing my agent every single time is the problem. And of course, I'm also dealing with an agent who is running back for more, so even if I do get lucky enough to kill him, it's gonna res. So they lost this one, but you can see what I did in the beginning, so let's try one more to see if we can actually get the agent to live, and then go back to doing what the agent needs to do. So they're 1-1, it's not bad. This is the first time I've tried running this. If instead of Spitfire you ran some kind of a healer, that'd be good, but remember, don't put out the heals until your agent is back on the field. Interesting. So my agent's been going pretty early, but not the earliest. And believe it or not, the combat communicator can make him go ahead and get rid of, you know, even beat out, like, Spitfires and Quicksilvers and everything. So, we've taken out one person, but they had a fatal finish on their side on the Rocket Raccoon. Pretty smart. Pretty smart. Scoot him over there, so we don't want to mess around with that agent. And lo and behold, this time I'll pick Psylocke. I will go ahead and suicide into that enemy agent, who was somehow able to detect that. So, they're 2-1, and you can see how if it's used with a very high-powered offense, it's actually not such a bad idea. We'll try one more since that one was quick. Really what I want to see is a good, hearty, worthy battle. So I'll jump really far up the ladder and pick one in the 1700s. We'll see how this goes. So we can see that they can decimate other high-power teams. I want to see a slower team. Well, alright. Oh, this is interesting. So I've heard we don't want to activate a class ability, otherwise Blade might jump in. Yeah, he's running all-nighter, so this is risky, but I have to do it to ensure I take somebody out, because they don't have an infiltrator. So let's see if this is true. I'm going to activate Close the Gap. Yup, it's true. He jumped ahead because I went and did a passive. So he spread the love, which is pretty nice. If he focused on one person, we'd have an issue. Well, Fatal Finish went off, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work the enemy Spitfire down with some single target. And... wow, really? Beautiful, wow. Snatched this one from the jaws of defeat. Of course, Blade has no defense against Psylocke. She mops up. Now, she's not Fatal Blow, because she doesn't have Archangel around. But Spitfire is. Alright guys, since that was another fast one, let's do one more. And if you were really, really committed to Blaster Blow Up, you could always run Age of Ultron Quicksilver. But I think Spitfire just simply does it better. Because Spitfire can, you know, basically resurrect herself on that lifelink over there. I want to get something that isn't a high power team. It would be nice if I can get another, like, beefy... we get another high power team. Again, we are jumping the gun over here, and we keep getting ahead of them, so... I will go for the Spitfire. And I'll just lifelink for the stamina regain. Psylocke goes next. They have double blasters, which is phenomenal. They don't have an ethereal over there, but they are both running phased frequencies. You're kidding. You are so kidding. Oof. Got lucky on that one. Oh, nice. Spitfire joins in. She joined in thanks to mental coordination, which is beautiful. So now the enemy Star-Lord is at death's door. So, watch what's going to happen here. Actually, this is a guaranteed win now at this point. I don't even need to do the chalice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the combat communicator this time, which basically gives me combat expertise. I'm then going to feed out the agent. Watch what's going to happen when my agent blows up. Star-Lord's gone because he's near death. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this proof of concept video. Just like a Suicide, or maybe Suicide Squad, Team Suicide. The heroes kind of don't matter, but I really do think you need Spitfire for this. Just because of the massive damage she can do and potentially wreck people low enough that the blaster blow up works. Psylocke also is very, very handy due to the fact that she may be able to give Spitfire more damage, and she might also be joining in with United Front. If you went with a ranged character over here, at least you won't have to worry about the drains. Not too many range jump-in people though, but you could do like Rocket Raccoon or even Spider-Man Noir. They would also be good. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the concept. It's really, really douchey, I know, and I don't like to perpetuate douche teams out there. But, you know, it's just kind of fun, and it's an interesting thing to think about. So guys, take care. Hope you liked it.